There are things happening in the United States that we oftentimes see happening where you are in the Middle East. It's not a joke, and yet Democrats continue to vote against opening up DHS for the funding.
Yeah, look, I'm not in favor of shutdowns. I think they should be illegal. I understand the need for pushback on ICE. I don't know how this shutdown helps that. And now the timing looks terrible. And when the facts change, you would hope that positions change. That hasn't been the case here yet. But also, look, I don't know that we're a shutdown away from being safer. I don't buy the sleeper cell theory. I don't even know that the intelligence community believes in sleeper cells. I think it's much easier to have a violent problem in America right now because of the rise of extremism. And I think we're seeing that. We're in a weird place, Katie, culturally, where we have difficulty saying that these ROT students probably beat this guy to death. That's offensive. That we can't discuss. But the fact that this guy did that, that we can discuss. You know, we got weird rules in our culture about when violence is okay and when it isn't.
That's actually a great point. I mean, these cadets and their professor were on a campus where they couldn't defend themselves with firearms, and yet the guy who came in, who was already in prison before for his affiliation with ISIS, came into the gun-free zone, and these guys had to fight back with their bare hands after people were wounded and one person was killed. Just going back to where you are, I think I'm hearing the other jets are in the skies. I'm sure that you've been hearing a lot of that where you are in Tel Aviv. What are you hearing about the coordination from the Israeli Defense Force and the U.S. Air Force at this point in time with the debilitating strikes that we've seen on Iran? And have you seen a decreasing of attacks where you are today?
It is hard to establish a pattern. We're all hearing the same thing about degraded capabilities, but I think you have to contextualize that with how little capability they need to do damage. Okay, so maybe it's down 80%, but they can do plenty with not much. Let's not forget 9/11 was tremendously devastating to America, not expensive, didn't take a lot of capability to pull it off. Tonight has been pretty quiet, got to be honest. Yesterday, you know, they shelled a record amount in the area that we were in. So it's kind of randomized. But Israel is in a much more difficult position strategically in terms of proximity to threat, but a much better position politically. Everybody here is on the same page. They want this window of opportunity that America has given them. They want to take out the threat. They're going to have a real war against Hezbollah. They're going to go into Lebanon, and there's going to be a lot of bloodshed for a long time because that's in Israel's interest. America's in a different situation, and it's going to have a different fix.
Yeah, I like what you brought up about the sleeper cell argument and the lone wolves. We have a lot of people who came through an open border in this country, known terrorists who are in our streets. We don't know where they are, but the FBI did an active shooter training at the synagogue that was attacked earlier today. They did it earlier this year. Where you are in Israel, of course, there's a lot of training all of the time. Security is the #1 thing. You can't leave a backpack for more than 30 seconds before someone sees it and removes it. Do you think that there is an opportunity for some partnership there as the United States has seen a number of these attempted terror attacks, and in some cases successful ones, over the course of just the last 2 weeks?
That would be great. But obviously, look, we're struggling with some coordination issues here. The Israelis seem to know much more about drones and the risks of the regime than its greatest ally, America, seemed to understand. And the Strait of Hormuz seems to be a little bit of a surprise about how that's being handled. But look, Katie, we're never going to be Israel. These people have generations of existential threat. And they're going through a wave of anti-Semitism, the likes of which I've never seen in my lifetime. I mean, in the American political dialogue, it's like totally okay to say, yeah, Israel's the bad guy, though. I mean, they're totally the bully. They attack everybody. They're the problem. They drag the United States into the Middle East. I mean, I don't believe any of those things, but they are stated as a matter of fact in America right now. So we're never going to have the cultural awareness of threat, or we better hope we never do in America, but it's hard to compare the two. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.